In this presentation, I will be discussing and demonstrating the Workflow for Spire solution. And first, to start, I'm going to give a brief intro. So this solution came about based on what I saw for lack of comprehensive solution for workflows and alerts in your business process. And so that's how I came about developing this solution and making sure that it covers a comprehensive list of things that you can automate and also be alerted on in your business. And so, what is a workflow solution for any system, what specifically in this case for Spire? And so, the actual technical term is extract, transform, and load. In short, that's ETL, and that's what it stands for, extract, transform, and load. And at the most basic level, it's a data integration process that combines data from multiple data sources or a single source and consists of transforming that data and then targeting something with that data, with that transformation. And that could just be loading that data into another system. And so that's the definition of a workflow solution. The technical term is extract, transform, and load. In short, it stands for ETL. And so now I'm briefly going to discuss 4 business problems that it resolves, that it can do for your business. And the first is to connect your external data to external apps. So one good example would be a CRM system, and this could go both ways. So you may have an event that happens in your CRM system, and you want that event to trigger something in Spire. And that could be something like a quote is created in a CRM system, and that quote now gets automatically added to Spire. Or it could also be a quote that gets created in your CRM system, and once it's approved in the CRM system, then it automatically gets added to Spire. And this could also go the other way. So you could connect your Spire data to a CRM system that if a certain event happens in your Spire, that would trigger an event in your CRM. And one thing that could be, as an example, is if you have for example, an order in Spire, an invoice or something, and that now requires a follow-up in your CRM system. So as soon as the invoice is created in Spire, now that requires a follow-up to that same customer in your CRM, and so that would be able to be triggered. And then the next option is to receive alerts on important events in your business. So if you have something that you want to do, maybe reach a goal, and once a certain thing has happened in Spire, then you want to be alerted on it. And so one example could be your salesperson reaches a goal of $100,000 in sales, and you want to be alerted on that when that happens. The third is to deliver reports. So often you may have a report that needs to be delivered automatically at an interval to your users, perhaps to your customers or your vendors. So I know some cases vendors want reports of what your sales are. And one example of this is the dental industry. Dental suppliers selling to dental offices, the manufacturers that this vendor represents want to know what kind of sales they had on a month-to-month basis. And so the vendor needs reports. And so that's one thing that it can do. And then in general, also link with any other application using in your business. So you may have 2 applications in your business. Or one example is often an Excel spreadsheet where you have some data and that represents something from your Spire. So you may want to have an automatic entry created in an Excel spreadsheet when something happens in Spire. And so that's one other option or problem that it can solve for you. And so next I'm going to jump into demonstrating the solution, and then I'm going to share a few testimonials that customers have provided that are using the Workflow4 Spire solution. So the first demonstration I'm going to do here is if a customer goes over their balance. Say they purchase on an ongoing basis and they have a certain credit limit, and now they have gone over their balance. And so that what this will do will put the customer on hold. And so here you can see one of my customers. So I have a balance of $4,136 and the credit limit is $5,000. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go and create another invoice, and we'll create a $2,000 invoice. And then I'm going to post this invoice to AR, post. And so now you can see I have a $2,000 entry here. And now when you're going to go and look at the balance, I'm just going to go and refresh. I'm going to reload this record. And so under billing now, we can see this customer is now has a balance of $6,136, but only has a credit limit of $5,000. And so now I'm going to go and run the automation. And this could include anything. This could also include an alert to you via email to say this customer's gone over their balance. But in this particular case, what I'm going to be doing here is this customer will be placed on hold when he's gone over the balance. And keep in mind that I'm running this process here manually, but this is all automated, so there's nothing to run manually. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. And so we're going to go back to this customer. Going to go and load him back from the screen here, and you can see now this customer is on hold. So it automatically placed that customer on hold because this customer went over their credit limit. So the next step that problem I'm going to demonstrate is if in your business you want to be notified if your inventory reaches certain quantity levels. And so the most common one may be where your inventory goes below your reorder point and some other conditions, such as you've sold that same item in the last 6 months and you've sold over above certain quantity, and then you would want to trigger an alert or a file that will show you what you need to reorder. And so in this case, I'm going to have conditions such as an item that has sold for the last 360 days out of particular warehouse. You can define the warehouse. And also this particular item is when it reaches below the reorder point. And so there's a couple of things that are going to happen here. I will get an email with the list of items that I need to reorder. And inside of the inventory, we will highlight the background in yellow to show that it needs to be reordered. And so I'm going to go and run the process. Again, this is fully automated. This doesn't need to be done manually. And the first step I'm going to be showing here, I'm going to close this inventory item. I'm going to go back to the main screen of Spire, open this item. And you can see now this item is highlighted in yellow. And again, it is because the quantity on hand is now below the reorder point. And then also the other conditions are met as well. It's sold in the last 365 days. And I'm going to also demonstrate the file here. And so here I have my file that I received via email, shows what I need to reorder, shows me the warehouse, the part number, last day it sold, quantity it sold, on-hand quantity, so how many I have, and what the committed quantity is, and what the reorder point is. So any item that is that needs to be reordered, that's here in my Excel spreadsheet. And so now, assuming that the person ordered this item, the person can go and remove the background, set it back to white, or that can also be automated in this case. And so this is related to reordering inventory when, again, reaching below a certain reorder point. Now, the next transformation that I'm going to demonstrate is updating average cost to current cost, or updating current cost to average cost. And this could serve several purposes. A few things to consider on something like this is that if I'm going to be updating the current cost to the average cost, that will have GL implications. And this particular case where this job is running at a customer, they do not have the GL or their inventory integrated to the balance or to the GL. So in terms of what displays here as costs and average cost getting update, has no GL implications. But if it did have GL implications, the job or transformation is also able to demonstrate or to actually take and update the GL as well to reflect when the average cost is changing, since Spire is an average cost system. And so what I'm going to do here with this particular item, I'm going to go and change the average cost or the current cost to, let's say, $120. And I'm going to save this. I am going to close this. And I'm going to go and run this job/transformation. And so it's done running. And now I'm going to come to this item here. And you will see now that the average cost has been updated to $120. Again, in this particular case, the customer does not have the GL integrated to the receiving inventory. So the cost implications are not reflected in the general ledger. In this transformation/job that I'm going to demonstrate, here the customer has one main warehouse and then 5 retail location. And what this customer does is update pricing and add new pricing to the main item in the main warehouse. And then that all synchronizes to the other warehouses. And so as you can imagine, if this customer had to update pricing in the main warehouse and secondary warehouses all manually, or even let's say with importing, exporting, that would be a lot of work. And so I'm going to show here these two items. So these two items are the same, and they exist in both warehouses. And so the TO warehouse, you can see I have a price list of 20, and so does the VA warehouse as well. And so what I'm going to do in the VA warehouse, I'm going to go and update the price to $22, but I'm also going to add some new pricing. So I'm going to add two more prices here to this item. Okay, so I've added those prices. Okay, and it doesn't matter in this case what the prices are. So I'm going to go and save this. And now I'm going to go and run this transformation job. And so it has completed. Now I'm going to close the item in the TO warehouse. I'm going to go and reopen that. And now you will see that the pricing has been updated in this warehouse with the same pricing as the warehouse from the warehouse VA to the TO warehouse. And so this saves the user a lot of time to not having to go manually update all the pricing. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to read a testimonial from a company that is using this solution, particularly to updating pricing. So the company is located in Manitoba, and they sell fireworks. And so they have one main location, and they have 5 warehouses. So my company utilizes 6 independent warehouses within Spire, a national distribution center, and 5 retail locations, and the pricing sync is an absolute time saver. I cannot begin to imagine how much time and how many headaches this price syncing feature has solved me, as I don't have to go through each warehouse and update every single price for over 500 individual products. I simply update the required pricing in our main warehouse, and it pushes updates to the remaining 5 warehouses. Ensuring that all locations are operating on the exact same pricing. This sync is especially critical for my team and I during our busy season, as we effortlessly keep our pricing up to date. This is truly an amazing feature and one that I could not do without. In my opinion, this feature is a must-have for all business owners operating with more than one location. 2 thumbs up. And so that testimony is from Brandy at Blast Off Fireworks. So next, I'm going to be demonstrating a follow-up workflow. So this follow-up is for quotes and invoices. So for quotes, to check in if the customer is still interested in proceeding with the order or a quote. And the second is to follow up with an invoice that was added to Spire. And so the first step, I'm just going to go and find a quote in the system that will require follow-up. So this quote number here. And that is this quote. So I'm going to load this. So this is a quote that was created within certain days, and it now requires a follow-up with the customer. And so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go and run that follow-up. And so I'm running that follow-up. And I'm going to go now to my emails. And so here's my email. So this quote basically reads, just circling back on the opportunity you have given us to quote your needs. We're always happy to be assistants in our real realm of office furniture and design expertise. And thank you very much for working through your details with our team. And so I will be reading a testimonial from Rodney. And so this is their follow-up to a quote. Next, I'm going to go and do the exact same thing, but I'm going to do this with an invoice. So first, I'm going to go and find one invoice number that will be included in this follow-up. And among other things, you can add attachments to these emails. You can, again, as you can see, your signature can be in the email to make it as realistic as possible. And so now I'm going to go and load this invoice in Spire. So here's an invoice that was created within certain days. And so this is going to be a follow-up to this invoice. And so now I'm going to go and run this procedure for the invoice. And so it's done running. And now the next step will be for me to get that email. And this again would be the email that went out to the customer. So thank you for the opportunity to outfit your needs. We really appreciate it. Were all questions answered? If not, please reach back out. Lastly, in this day of reviews, we always appreciate them. So this is a completely automated email follow-up based on an invoice that was created, and there are certain conditions that are met. And so there's no one needs to follow up or to remember. It's completely automated in this case. And so next, I'm going to be reading a testimonial from Rodney. And so Rodney says, Iversa was referred to me as a team that could help on an email follow-up project I was undertaking. Automated follow-ups on quotes and after sale was valuable, low-hanging fruit to nurture and reach out to customers. The team listened to my detailed needs and within a few interactions helped structure things appropriately. Through some trial together, we figured out how it would work with the way we particularly use Spire. Now we have an excellent email follow-up system. Our clients reply to it as if it would have been a live person. And it works hands off. Fantastic. So it's a testimonial from Rodney. So this concludes the presentation for Workflow for Spire.